All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for joining us for the Blueprint Cohort 5's demo day. The businesses have been working extremely hard. Before we get started, I am going to ask a favor of everyone. If you can please turn your camera on, that will be greatly appreciated and inviting for our businesses. So you take a moment, just click that camera on. If you're able to, I understand you may be somewhere with other obligations, but if you are able to, if you can turn your camera on, we will greatly appreciate it. All right, so my name is Stephanie Crosley. I serve as the program manager for the Blueprint, and I'll be the host of this virtual event. Up first, we have Mr. Khalif El-Amin. Khalif is a co-founder of Yes, Young Enterprising Society, and he's part of the dynamic team that brings forth and implements the Blueprint program. Khalif.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Khalif El-Amin, and along with my brother Q, I am co-founder of Young Enterprising Society. For those of you on this call who are not familiar with Yes, in addition to running the Blueprint, we do STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math programming to middle school and high school students as well. Since 2013, we have been blessed to teach over 3,500 students in 8 different states through this program. And now to the Blueprint. The Blueprint is a business accelerator that came about from a lack of underrepresented founders having equal access to resources, funding, mentors, and information. We have been running the Blueprint since August of 2018. And since that time, we have graduated 4 cohorts totaling 34 companies, with an additional 14 companies finishing up in cohort 5. The 2 12-week cohorts are idea validation and market validation. Given the current health status of the world, we were forced to make cohort 5 100% virtual, which turned out to be a blessing in disguise. In this cohort, we were able to have founders from Milwaukee, Chicago, Boston, Venezuela, Russia, and China all participate. As I conclude, I must extend our sincerest gratitude to our lead instructor, Ms. Samitra Iwansky, who has added immense value to the Blueprint. Samitra, along with our sponsors, continue to see our vision and continue to help improve the Blueprint cohort. Samitra, along with our sponsors, continue to see our vision and continue to help improve the Blueprint cohort after cohort. Huge thank yous go out to Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, WEDC, 5 Lakes Institute, Northwestern Mutual, Pat and Rachel English, and the Milwaukee Tech Hub. Thank you and enjoy the rest of Demo Day.
Thank you, Khalif. I'm already super excited to watch the pitches with you all, and I hope you guys are just as excited. So we have 13 businesses who will pitch today in the spirit of being considerate of everyone's time while putting on a quality virtual event. All pitches are pre-recorded and our businesses had up to 3 minutes to make their pitch. We've broken that down into 3 segments, so it'll be 4, 4, and 5. After each segment, those companies that are pitching within that segment will answer at least 1 question. If you have any questions for any business, please drop them in the chat. Again, the business will answer at least 1 question to the entire group, and then we will move forward with the next segment. At the conclusion of today's event, we will, all of our business have personal links to either a Zoom or a Google account in which you guys will be invited to have a more in-depth conversation to learn more about that particular business. Those links will be shared with each of you. All right, so first up, you guys are ready, we are ready. First up, we have Avalanche Savings.
My name is Alan Shaw. I'm a Milwaukee entrepreneur that is deeply passionate about financial inclusion in creating equal opportunity in the financial space. I'm the founder of a product called Avalanche. It is a high-yield digital savings account. Avalanche is needed because inflation is destroying the hard-earned wealth of low to moderate net worth individuals all over the world. In America, we have 0% interest rates. That means we're being penalized by saving our money. In countries like Venezuela or Zimbabwe, they suffer from hyperinflation. Their governments have made their local currency nearly worthless, and they've implemented currency controls. So those citizens cannot access US dollars. The answer is an Avalanche savings account. What it is a blockchain-powered banking protocol that allows users to gain access to fully collateralized US dollars, pick from a suite of structured derivatives that offer a high return, all while providing a non-custodial store of value, meaning that the local bank or jurisdiction cannot take your wealth from you. Avalanche focuses on non-volatile investments. Using proprietary trading strategies, we've created high-interest, non-volatile investments. Unlike Bitcoin and Blue, users do not have to subject themselves to price volatility. This application is available to anyone with a cell phone and an internet connection. We've been working very hard to get to this point. We already have 70 signups for the alpha test. Our algorithms are written, and we recently just represented the United States in an international blockchain Olympiad competition. This project is led by myself, where I studied finance at Marquette University and started their emerging technologies lab, as well as Jack Gilchrist, a computer science undergraduate at Miami University, where he's the president of their blockchain club. And together, we founded the Midwest Blockchain Consortium. Our revenue model is going to be taking $2 per month from each individual user, as well as any return exceeding 15%. And if we are able to capture 1% of the decentralized finance ecosystem, that will put our year one revenue at $540,000, growing to nearly $8 million by year 5 of operations. To continue on this project, we will need a $5,000 contribution from the blueprint. This money will be used to security audit our initial derivative products. At that point, we'll be working with venture capital firms to secure 18 months of operating runway so we can onboard our alpha users, iterate, and ultimately present a product that is ready for mass user adoption. So please, if you're interested in engaging with us or helping us accomplish our mission, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, Alec. Next up, we have Carved in Stone.
Hi, everyone. My name is Naisha Stone, and I'm the founder of Carved in Stone. Just like many people currently, I'm saddened, I'm angered, and quite honestly, I'm pissed off about what the news is covering. I'm tired of seeing people being murdered, taken to jail, and hearing about lies and scandals from the people that I'm supposed to be trusting. The sadness and the anger that I'm currently feeling is the same feelings I felt 4 years ago when I began to report for local media outlets. No longer did I want to cover vigils and political events that had no substance or impact on the communities that I wanted to reach. Although I had just entered the field of journalism, I quickly wanted to exit out of it. But before I gave up on the field as a whole, I decided to create my own path. Carved in Stone, your weekly source of positive news. At Carved in Stone, we cover a variety of topics as long as they relate and pertain to positive news, from health to food to education to entertainment and everything in between. Since our establishment in 2017, we went from 5,000 unique visitors to 50,000 right here in 2020. And once we honed in on who we are and what we can provide for the community, we've been able to keep going consistently. Along with providing along with reporting on positive news, we provide grants, scholarships, community events, and educational programming to the public. Just a month ago, we awarded a $1,200 grant to a Milwaukee entrepreneur. And within a few weeks, we'll be giving away a $700 grant to another Milwaukee entrepreneur. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, well, how do we make money? Well, let me introduce you to CNS Services. Through CNS Services, we provide PR and communications, event planning, paid press coverage, resume critiquing, and so much more. Plus, we sell merchandise. 2020 has been a tremendous year for Carbon Stone, and we've always known the value of positive news, but with everything currently going on with the world, society is just now catching up. The want and the need for positive news is so high that we've had to expand our team. Currently, right now, we have writers right here in Wisconsin, California, Louisiana, and just recently, the Army. We are so thankful and grateful for the support that we've received, and we're excited to keep going, but we need your help. In order to keep up with our expansion, we're asking for partnerships. And included in those partnerships are 4 main things that we need: finances, manufacturing, a coder/web designer, and consulting. Now, if you're interested in knowing more about who we are and what we can do for you and how we can partner, we can talk more about this when this is all over. Thank you so much for your time. And please always remember, in the end, everything will be Carbon Stone. Thank you.
Thank you, Naisha. Next up, we have Colorful Connections.
My name is Morgan Phelps. I'm the founder of Colorful Connections. To briefly explain what we do, companies are like orchestras comprised of different instruments, and some might be heavy on the strings or maybe missing an entire section. We help leaders find the right mix of instruments, and we help teams work together in harmony. Now, companies have been stepping up diversity commitments more than ever following the tragic murder of George Floyd in late May. In fact, in June and July, we saw increased business across the board, bringing in 8 new contracts that totaled $86,000 in revenue. So we know companies are strengthening their diversity commitments and making bold promises for more, yet they're still facing challenges. And that's because traditionally, diversity and inclusion is seen as something that you can turn off and on when needed. But with short-term fixes, a reactionary approach, and this all leads to band-aids for a larger, deeper problem. And if you're curious how big that problem is, our total addressable market is more than $1 billion. So the solution, we focus on helping leaders design harmony. If diversity are the instruments, what's the value if they can't work together in harmony? Now, the specific company goals will vary, but ultimately, in terms of how we achieve success, we do so by building a stable support system. And like the stability of a 3-legged stool, there are 3 main points that are all interdependent and critical for stability. And that's the ability for leaders to attract, retain, and grow an inclusive team. You can't just focus on one area. The other 2 legs must have support in order for everything to hold up. Our services are tailored designed for individual needs to meet employers where they are and include recruiting, trainings, assessments, and even a workforce development program called Think Tank. We also have plans in the works with our online platform to evolve and elevate our services with on-demand resources, instant connections, and service upgrades. And the team is comprised of passionate experts with deep subject matter expertise in the areas of recruiting, HR, diversity consulting, and communications. From a strict service perspective, Colorful Connections is a one-stop shop in comparison with competitors. But we're strategic partners, so we're more. We offer tailored solution and stronger value because we treat the condition and the cause of problems while addressing symptoms. So that means ultimately we save HR directors time and money. And if you would like to support us, you can do so with financial support as well as business referrals. The majority of our work comes from word of mouth, so we would appreciate the help, and ultimately it will help us reach our financial goals and assure progression in critical growth areas. If you're wondering why now, why us, we're the right team at the right time. So thank you for your time and for the consideration.
Thank you, Morgan. And just as a reminder, we will be doing a Q&A after this segment. We have 1 more business left. If you have any questions, please add them to the chat so we can make sure your question is answered. Next up, we have Dashpeen.
The day that the truck stops, a America stops. You agree with that? Yes, Jimmy Hoffa said that. As leader of the American Labor Union, Hoffa would be very proud of you paying attention to this small logistics team who has the solution to what U.S. Department of Transportation calls a $2.2 billion annual challenge that must be solved. Underpaid and unpaid detention payments. So how does this problem occur? Well, as a technologist, when I saw this, I was floored. Out of thousands of shipments every day, roughly about 25% of them experience extended waiting times at the pickup and drop-off locations. This results in detention fees owed to the trucking company. Then you add the dispatcher into this mix. Bunch of stress, emailing, calling to chase down this detention fee. And dig this, about 63% of all detention requests are either denied, they're either unpaid, or just flat out ignored. There is no solution for this currently, because what you would have to do is automate every aspect of the trucking logistics supply chain in order to find a solution to that problem. We just did that. Let me talk to you about FreightBots. We created the most advanced dispatcher automation software on the market. Now FreightBots empowers trucking companies to never miss a detention payment when they use Freight ATM. Freight ATM provides trademark sync and forget driver-safe technology within the DashPay mobile app to allow for effortless documentation of the detention process. FreightBots automates shipment tracking, communicating with shippers and vendors, and the distribution of carrier capacity lists. This frees managers and dispatchers up for increasing the load capacity of the trucking company, which also increases the revenue. So what's our market potential? Currently, there are 3.9 million CDL holding truck drivers in America. There are a little over 500,000 trucking companies in America. We're going to focus on the small to medium-sized trucking company. We're simply going to show them use Freight ATM and never have to worry about a detention payment again. Spot market trucking companies account for 70% of freight annually, collecting $726.4 billion. We can position ourselves now as the trusted third party for managing fair freight compliance amongst the industry. Based upon our subscription model, we need roughly 6,700 trucking companies out of 500,000 trucking companies to reach 1 million in monthly recurring revenue. So what's our competition? Well, currently, we indirectly compete against companies like DAT, MacroPoint, TMS, Smart Hop. We show a strong resegmented market type because we show our customers that we can automate 80% of the processes that you currently execute in those transportation management systems. FreightBots is able to do this because we have combined virtually all the processes of freight trucking into one platform. Why DashPay? Well, our CEO, Michael Schreiber, is an ambitious and level-headed logistics and supply chain visionary. He brought me into the fold, and I applied my technical creativity, and we built dashhaul.com, one of the first digital freight brokerages. We even beat Uber Freight to market. Then we spent the next 4 years drilling through 4 different prototypes, ensuring that we had the perfect offering that could recover our American trucking infrastructure. We understand the problem. We have the case studies. We have the data. Now we have the solution. DashPay Dispatcher Dashboard and the driver mobile application have been quality assured and ready for business. We're requesting $5,000 to get in front of a very concentrated group of truckers and dispatchers that we may motivate them to request a demo or start their trial period immediately.
All right, thank you, Michael. All right, that was our first segment. It is completed. Thank you to all the businesses. If you're home, you can just do a round of applause for those terrific pitches. Questions? Alec, you're up first. Is your solution built upon any specific cryptocurrency?
Yeah, great question. So we are actually leveraging a type of cryptocurrency that we think is going to be the future of digital currencies. It's called a stable cryptocurrency. So it's pegged to the US dollar. So unlike Bitcoin, where you have to really deal with those intense swings in price, you would not have to deal with that with the stable currency. It stays exactly worth $1 as you hold that in your digital wallet.
Awesome. Thank you, Alec. Naisha, how much in ads did you have to spend to reach that 50K online, or how did you grow your platform?
I was told when I first started off that the only way I would be able to make money as a media company was based off advertisements. I've only had actually one advertisement, and that's from Lamer's Buzz. I've been able to grow organically. I do a lot of networking. I meet with people, and I don't only just cover things in Milwaukee, but around the world. So I travel around the country, and I've done video interviews in Atlanta. I visit people in New York. I'm just really out there on the grounds and just really telling people about who we are. And so once people know that we are positive news, I think that's really what made us grow. Because when I first started off 3 years ago, I didn't necessarily say we were positive news. But once I literally said that term, we've been able to grow consistently.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Morgan, what does success look like for your company?
Success looks like equity in the workplace. So I think when workplaces start reflecting the diversity of the communities that they serve, the modern consumer market, and the spectrum of diversity within that, then we will have success.
Awesome. Thank you, Morgan. And last but not least, Michael, you mentioned multiple products in your pitch. Are they all under DashPing, or are they separate products?
Sorry. Under DashPing, we do have two services that we're starting with. All of our technology is in one system. We have the Freight Bots service, which is the automation of transportation management systems in general. Then we have Freight ATM, which is about to be that new thing that guarantees detention payments for truckers.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you, all the businesses from round one. We appreciate you guys. Next up, we have FanZone. Oh, I'm sorry. We have eBooth. eBooth is up next. My apologies, Jason.
Hi, my name is Jason Boo Jr., and today I'm here to tell you about eBooth, top-tier e-learning for musicians. For generations, big corporations in the music industry have been able to get away with consistently taking advantage of and manipulating artists into handing over the rights to their financial royalties for pennies on the dollar. In 2018, the music business generated over $51 billion in revenue globally and over $21 billion in revenue in the US alone. Out of that $21 billion, artists are only seeing approximately $5 billion. Something needs to change. This is why we created eBooth. eBooth is an e-learning service that equips artists with the knowledge and information they need to secure and maintain the rights to their financial royalties throughout their musical careers. With the help of a few Black women with long careers in education and the music industry, the eBooth curriculum is carefully crafted and curated by experienced educators and industry researchers. eBooth also strives to uplift the voices of the industry's unheard and looks to bring a new energy into the music business through education. We intend to educate artists on how to properly set up a foundation that enables them to have a profitable musical career. Learning the 6 different types of music music royalties, learning the steps on securing and maintaining those royalties, steps on obtaining LLC and trademarks as an artist, knowledge on different distribution methods, and a slew of other valuable information will all be topics included in the curriculum. Upon our first launch, these are our tentative pricing methods. We are looking at launching our first session of 6-week classes at the beginning of 2021. From now until September 5th, we will be accepting applicants for our upcoming 6-week class session, which will be taking place later this fall. Applicants interested in participating can sign up on the link provided below. In terms of the acts we are looking for the Blueprint Cultivator to provide, eBooth is asking for $3,500 that will go towards startup expenses and ensuring that eBooth has all the necessary tools needed to continue to grow and educate the musicians of tomorrow. Personally, I just want to say thank you for your time and attention. Please continue to spread the word and tell friends and family. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Next up, we have F2 Social.
Meet Bernice, a boss ass, well, you get it, who's a wife, mom, entrepreneur, and HR consultant. With over 30 years in the game, she's beyond knowledgeable in all things HR, ranging from payroll to benefits and company culture. Basically, she's as good as it gets. Between supporting the family and her business, she has limited hours in the day. With that being said, she barely has time to stay on top of digital trends, which is extremely important during these unprecedented times. As the digital era of today becomes the catalyst for opportunity for tomorrow, traditional marketing tactics will limit her reach. Let's face it, with the pandemic in place, networking events are gone. Phone calls are avoided, and business cards are definitely thrown out. So she tried to learn the social media game herself.
That's where we come in. I'm DJ.
And I'm Erin.
And we are the F2 Social team.
So for your website, is that optimized for search engines?
Have you tracked your engagement rate?
No. What is it? What is your open and click rate for email campaigns?
Or your social media cadence for Instagram, LinkedIn.
Do you even have a LinkedIn? I have a business card. Is that okay? Is that what?
We all know that business cards don't cut it today, but we still want to stay connected. We've taken one client from 5,000 to over 8,000 connections, which is a 60% increase. And we've even helped other clients go viral with over 900,000 views. We do this through photography and videography, website development, online panels and events with great results. We've even created a magazine to highlight all of our awesome clients and more from the community. Ultimately, by narrowing down on coaches, consultants, and speakers, we're able to transform their social media to get them more clients, speaking gigs, and podcasts. But to do this even more effectively, we need your help.
So the Blueprint program, our ask is $5,000. What this will do for us is increase our photography needs, our videography needs, as well as creative, and possibly also expanding your team. Why is this important? Well,
This will help us do what we do best, so you can do what you do best.
let's go.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, F2 Social. Next up, we have Fan Zone.
All right. Hello and welcome. My name is Pascal. I'm really excited to introduce you to Fan Zone today. So, a quick introduction here. Fan Zone is the community for principal apps to be able to connect, find the games they're passionate about, and then go watch it with your friends. So the real gist of what we do is that we enable sport fans to be able to go watch matches together. So a little bit of background here. When I left home on my own local fan base, I quickly discovered that watching games alone is not the same as watching it with friends. So it turns out that the fan community itself is as important as the game. So we built our fan zone to bring the excitement, the energy of a real stadium into every single game put online. So remember how I initially said that this project was started to myself and my friends? Well, it turns out that there are millions of people around the world who have this problem. So 80% of the people we've been able to talk to, sports fans that we talk to basically said that they prefer to watch games with the sports community instead of watching it alone. And 100% of sports organizations that we talk to were like, wow, that sounds really, really interesting. So one of such organization itself is the National Sport Organization for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which has multiple teams within its own league. So we're going to talk with them, and hopefully in the coming days we'll be able to get them on our platform. So currently we do have users, we have quite a lot of users. So overall we've received tremendous feedback from the sports community, and it's really something to be proud of. So the market itself is pretty much huge. So we're talking about a $500 billion market here, but we believe that total addressable market should be around $78 billion. And overall, the market has been seeing tremendous increase of 5.9% since 2014. For a market of this size, it is amazing. So how are we going to make money? That's pretty much straight. So we intend to employ a subscription-based model for professional sports with some level of anonymity sprinkled around it. We believe this will do the trick. So who is this for? This is primarily made for sport fans and also sport organizations. But we intend to focus mostly on sport fans to provide a never-seen experience for sport fans. On the competition, this slide is probably the most important slide of this, because if you look at the next slide right here, you're going to see hundreds of thousands of logos from Facebook to Twitter to YouTube to Twitch, ESPN, Sky Sports, and so many other platforms right there. But what do all these platforms have in common? They all seem to be made by people who have absolutely no idea what the sports community, especially younger fans, wants. So, but on the contrary, we employ a new way to community building and community engagement, employing new strategies and new technology in the way that we engage our fans. And the overall of this is to make fans to be able to watch matches and create an environment similar to what you have when you go to a stadium. So the team, we're currently a team of two, myself and Amadi. We actually met years ago on GitHub, the interesting part. So we actually met while I was trying to collaborate with him on some open source software that he organizes. And we took the discussion away from GitHub to ourselves and discovered, wow, we live in the same city and we have the same passion for I would say, for sports, for football in particular. So overall, the relationship has grown from there. We've got to work on so many other projects over the years, and that has been really amazing. Myself, I've been a full stack developer in writing course in 2014. Amadi himself has quite an experience with mobile development. So yeah, that is that about our team. So if you believe in what we're doing and you want to help us transform the way our sport fans connect and watch games together, we invite you to join us. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate this. Thank you.
Thank you, FanZone. Remember, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Our last business for this segment is Kratos.
Inequality, access to quality education and remote learning are some of the most terrifying challenges education is facing today. And it will get worse with the fourth industrial revolution because millions of jobs will be displaced. Even here in Wisconsin, 1 of every 4 jobs is at the risk of being taken over by technology. The schools are overwhelmed because they do not have the capacity to adapt for these changes. And we have validated our research by interviewing administrators, teachers, and students. With this status quo, these challenges will get worse, and new generations will be the most affected.
The system is preparing the students for the society of the past without the survival skills for the future. To tackle these challenges, we will make students owners of their future. And as an outcome, they will get better college and job placement. They'll grow to become proactive, self-reliant, accountable, curious, and genuine. And ultimately, they will generate impact by creating solutions and generating results. How do we make it happen? With our remote experiential program, where students will grow through project-based learning, peer learning, mentoring, interdisciplinarity, and multiple prowess, all while having fun. As a team, we have 5 years of experience in soft skills training in Latin America, where we have trained 380 students, won 12 international academic awards, and over the last year, we have been developing this program with support of YES, Marquette University, and the University of Pennsylvania.
We want to take our company to the next step. In order to launch this remote solution in the US market, we need to conduct a pilot. This will allow us to test our solution, tailor our market, and gather even more traction. We will conduct our pilot as a complete module of 3 months in at least 3 schools, which we have already targeted. These $5,000 will allow us to finish building our platform and hire enough trainers to carry on this program. With the validation we will obtain from these pilots, we will have the tools and knowledge to launch our product in Milwaukee. And then we will focus our marketing and sales efforts on growth. Our B2B subscription model benefits from economies of scale so that our margins can maintain interesting returns on investment. This is Kratos Experiences. We want to enable and empower the new generations to thrive in the workplace of the future. We want our students to maximize their potential in this fourth industrial revolution. We want to be the ideal complement for schools to provide quality education and serve this new reality. Join us to lead the difference.
All right, thank you to our groups in segment 2. Up first, eBooth. Your question, how do you automate your process?
Well, as far as automating it, we haven't really expanded into that realm yet. So we'll be taking classes like virtually online, like through Zoom, most likely. And then as we kind of get more experience and go down that lane, we'll be fixing up a couple things.
Thank you, Jason. Next up, F2. What social media platform have you seen growth in during this pandemic, and why do you think that is because of?
Sure. Specifically for our clients, they utilize LinkedIn, which you would think is not the normal way to go when having content or having anything to share with their following. However, through the use of video content or just straight up content itself, they're able to gain traction for whatever their business may be, whether that's consulting or coaching. So from there, we're able to identify or help them get qualified leads through the network that they already have, and with their peers that are looking to, either increase their needs.
Awesome, thank you, DJ. Fan Zone. We know you just recently launched. What is your traction so far?
All right, thank you very much for the question. Upon launch, we actually were able to get around 800 users within the first 24 hours of launch. So that has been tremendous. And currently, we're in talks with the Major League of some decent and growing things. They have approximately 10,000 fans. So we're in talks with them. We expect that by next week, they're likely to be on our platform. So, and by getting them on our platform, we expect to have at least up to 10,000 sign-ups of their fans. So, overall, we've been able to see tremendous feedback from sport organizations that we've been able to talk to. There are still a lot of others that we're in talks with to see how we can be able to get them on our platform. But we've been able to see consistent positive feedback and growth since we launched.
Thank you. And last but not least, Kratos, do you all provide the educational curriculum, or does the partner in school provide that material?
Yes, thank you for your question. We provide the curriculum by partnering with the schools. And in that way, we are a complement for schools and they can teach these soft skills for their students. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you all for answering those questions. We are getting into our last segment. We have just 5 more businesses. Remember, if you have any questions that come up, drop them in the chat. Immediately after we wrap up, we will share with you the personal links to answer, to ask whatever other questions you may have. Next up, we have Musample.
When navigating the music industry, and you don't know where to go or how you plan to get there, it can be easy to get lost or hurt. As a music creative, I understand that monetizing your music can be like searching for a treasure without a map. I would like to introduce to you Musample, a content and consultancy-based platform that provides the map and the guide to ensure that as music creators journey through music, they receive a financial return of their musical investment. Here's how it works. Music creators visit musample.com. They create a profile. From there, they have access to the map, which includes resources such as video content, webinars, there's an ebook, and they can also schedule a consultation with one of our guides. Our business model is education, monetization, and music rights management. Our target market is the state of Wisconsin, mainly because last year, Wisconsin made $1.15 billion from the music industry. There are 11,000 music creators signed up with organizations that pay them royalties. However, only 1,000 of those artists receive royalties. That means that 99% of the artists that's creating music in the state of Wisconsin is not receiving a financial return on their musical investment. Let me introduce you to singer-songwriter, music administrator, 20+ years in the music industry. I'm looking to partner with a chief technology officer, someone who understands the marriage between music and technology. I'm looking to also partner with a digital media manager, as well as an intellectual property attorney. This could be you. We are seeking a $5K investment, which will be used for research and development, as well as technology and infrastructure, which includes hardware and communication capabilities, which are the cornerstone of the Musample platform. In summary, Musample is a content and consultancy-based platform that provides music creators with the map and the guide needed as they embark on a music career. Are you ready to begin your journey through music? Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, I can be found in any of the content information listed here.
Thank you, Aishel. Next up, we have Norwood Media Group.
Lawrence Norwood, and I'm the founder of Norwood Media Group. Our motto is to help one small business at a time. The problem that most small businesses have today is that 39% of the owners that Gallup surveyed said they work over 60 hours a week. More than 50% of small enterprises fail in the very first year, and more than 95% of small startups fail within the first 5 years. The problem that most small businesses have is they don't have the time to invest into social media, and that with social media changing every day, it's hard to keep up with certain trends. The solution that Norwood Media Groups present is that we stay on top of the latest social media trends to stay astute and educated. We offer many services that will help improve small businesses overall bottom line. And in the end, we wish to educate small businesses that social media is the way of the future. Norwood Media Group has multiple streams of income. Right now, currently, we have social media management, which in turns, I enter into a 3-month, 6-month, or 12-month agreement with a small business owner And we come up with a social media campaign for those 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. With social media consulting, I have one-on-one sessions with the small business owner or the startup business owner or the co-founder or the CEO, and I give them the keys to how they can successfully utilize social media in the best way. With social media auditing, I come in and look at the numbers and run through analytics and show which customer base is best to target on with social media. In the future, I plan to develop an MVP, which will help small businesses utilize the best social media platform to help bring in the most overall revenue. Norwood Media Group in the last year has helped gain 6K to 8K followers within a year. Our biggest Instagram post to date is 2,662 impressions, and we have reached 2,444 accounts. Our earnings today are projected to be 5K this year, which is purely profit. Norwood Media Group is asking for $5,000 to utilize towards marketing, onboarding, and development of MVP. I want to thank you for your time. You can reach me at norwoodmediagroup@gmail.com. I have the website, norwoodmediagroup.com, 414-233-0914. You can reach me at that number. Norwood Media Group for Instagram, Norwood Media Group for Facebook, and Norwood Media Group for LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence. Next up, we have Pluto View.
Is working remotely a new reality for you? For me, it is. And as a student in the past, an educator, and an entrepreneur, I know exactly how difficult it is to make remote collaboration actually work. Why? Because effective group collaboration demands the ability to work from the same table on multiple devices at the same time with your team, so that you can see what's going on the screen of your partner, cut time, coordination efforts, and really have the process make sense. Screen sharing, a technology that is 30 years old, doesn't allow that. It has only one shareable screen, which may be good for demonstration, but does absolutely nothing for actual work. PlutoView brings multiple shareable screens to disperse teams, making their real-time collaboration as seamless and effective as working from the same table. Host remote class sessions and group research projects with your students that actually work on design and engineering with your team. Don't let distance prevent you from creating together. We're concentrating on education technology and distance learning market, more specifically synchronous e-learning. PlutoView is the definition of synchronous e-learning because we are the only solution on the market that allows multiple shareable screens, which sets us apart from everyone else and makes us very special. 34 billion is what the market was valued in 2018. Currently, it's somewhere between 60 and 65 billion, if not more, because of the whole pandemic. We've launched a month ago, became #1 product of the week on Product Hunt, #4 product of the month on Product Hunt, and host roughly between 2,000 and 2,500 active co-browsing sessions a week, which is really, really great. We've also gotten incredible feedback and a dedicated audience. We're looking to raise $250,000 pre-seed, which is going to get a 6-month run rate, and in 5 months we'll be opening up a seed round. This is our team, and right now I'm going to show you the magic of PlutoView. Here you can see my account. It says Arcady. Here you can see a testing account that I have opened. Think of them as 2 people spread somewhere around the world, a student and a teacher working on HTML. You simply share session, just like this, and this is the key of accessibility. Send it to your co-browsing partner, and you get into the same session, working together, seamlessly and synchronously. Now I'm going to show you exactly how it looks. You basically end up working with 2 computers somewhere around the world and switching between them with the same ease as you switch between tabs. This is the magic of PlutoView and the magic of real remote collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you, Arcady. Next up, we have Secure Bridges.
It's working remotely, and you...
Hi, my name is Shayvon McCullum, and I'm the founder of Secure Bridges.
We are living in a horrific time right now, and our children are under attack. It's at an all-time high. Wisconsin having titles like the Hub for Sex Trafficking, the Harvard School for Pimp, as well as being known nationally as the most segregated state in the nation. And let's not forget that we have the highest incarceration rate in the heart of Milwaukee in our 53206 zip code. That leaves our kids even more vulnerable. That shows you the COVID pandemic, racism, poverty. Our children are homeless. They have mental health issues, and our communities are lacking support. We are disconnected. We are fragmented and providing real solutions to our impoverished and disadvantaged communities. We have all 72 counties reported cases of sex trafficking. 20,000 children being listed in Wisconsin as homeless. And let's not forget the fact that 22,000 people use our sheltering services here in the state of Wisconsin last year alone. Secure Bridges is providing a web app hub for service providers. This is where we connect, this is where we collaborate, this is where we save lives. COVID told us that we need to social distance. This hub will be just that, still providing real-time help to our end users, as well as providing resources in the palm of their hand, bringing them positive opportunities and programming. Our business model is subscription-based, but it's a B2B strategy, providing our customers with mentorship opportunities, training and development, recruitment of our end users, and collaboration. Collaboration is the bridge that brings all of our systems together and protects our children from the predators. Secure Bridges is asking for $5,000, but we're looking to raise $100,000 in development of our technology. We're going to use a local developer here. We're also asking for collaborations with other organizations, with community agencies, as well as hospital systems. I'm also looking to build my team. So if my mission aligns with your values and how you see community, we should definitely talk more. I want everybody to do one last thing for me this evening. I want you to look at your kids. I want you to hug them. I want you to love them. And I want you to tell them good night. I want you to tuck them in their bed. And then I want you to understand that that's a privilege you have, that thousands, hundreds of thousands of children do not have tonight because they're homeless and they're being trafficked. Thank you for listening to me. Have a good day.
Thank you, Shay. Last but certainly not least, we have TipaScript.
I'm Chad Johnson, founder of TipaScript. Well, let's get into the problem that I'm seeking to solve here. Well, the problem is prescription medications can be extremely expensive, which leave many unfilled in pharmacies. As a result, some of our loved ones are dividing pills in half, staying ill, and possibly even dying due to their inability to pay. Well, how are people paying for their meds now? Some have insurance, others use rebates, discount cards, others even have health savings accounts. But even then, what happens if the last dollar balance is still too expensive? Well, that's where something like TipaScript comes in. Think of us as something like a socially funded health savings account to help people cover that last dollar payment. In this particular case, loved ones and even healthcare providers can contribute funds to someone in need, and that person can use those funds only to cover prescription medication costs at a pharmacy. So in this particular case, we could use an example of a mobile app. A giver and a receiver would download the free app on a mobile device. Givers would send funds to the receiver, and the receiver would redeem their funds to pay for prescription medication. The goal ultimately is for us to integrate with pharmacy point of sale systems. If we can integrate with those pharmacy point of sale systems, that would allow us to have general customers tip a script. where they would be able to donate funds at the register to increase the aggregate pool of funds available at that pharmacy. Our goal is really to create a business-to-business platform where we generate revenue through transaction fees, a share in rebate funds, getting incentives, subscription fees, as well as advertising revenue from the platform. Our total addressable market is $69 billion, which is based on 1 in 5 adults reporting their inability to pay for needed prescriptions. On average, adults may pay $1,200 out of pocket annually for prescription meds. At this point, I'm the team. I'm a person with healthcare, business, and entrepreneur experience. But most important, I'm a son who needs to assist his aging mother with the ability for her to pay for her medication expenses. Traction to this point is I'm completing the Blueprint Cultivator program. I've applied for the Northwestern Mutual Venture Studio. Got an interview next week on the 14th to talk about next steps. And I've even had great opportunities to talk with pilot collaborators to help us test out TipaScript with patients. Therefore, our ask would be for the Blueprint to provide $5,000 in seed capital for us to pilot TipaScript for up to 1,000 patients in southeastern Wisconsin, for us to build a low-maintenance prototype, and we'd use those funds also to purchase debit cards for the Stripe card issuing service for patients during the pilot to be able to purchase their meds based on funds that are donated. I appreciate this opportunity to share this new health tech startup, and I welcome any opportunity to have a conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. All right, we have questions. Moose Sample, Aishel, how has your focus shifted from the last time you graduated from the Blueprint?
I chose to focus more on educating the artists about ownership and how valuable that was. And in doing so, I realized I got a greater response from artists as well as record labels, managers, producers. And that just allowed me to add an extension of sample clearance. But ultimately, it was focusing on making sure artists or music creators understood why what I do is important.
Awesome, thank you, Aishel. Lawrence with Norwood Media Group, how do you plan to expand your clientele?
Right now I'm focusing on a marketing campaign that I'm coming up with to advertise on social media. So that's what I'm focusing on right now to expand my clientele.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Next up, Pluto View. What will you spend your initial investment on?
Definitely scaling our team. We're in a position right now when growing is the top priority. We need to grow our sales and marketing. We already host between 2,000 and 2,500 active co-browsing sessions weekly. We need to get those numbers up. We need to reach more businesses, more B2B clients. So it's all about scaling our team and scaling our sales efforts.
Absolutely, thank you. Secure Bridges, Shay, are there any other tech hubs that you're looking to create currently on the market?
Not a tech hub per se, but Secure Bridges does have some wonderful opportunities to collaborate with someone in Denver. Obviously, I want to use a local developer here, Jack Constellations, to do the development for our MVP1. And then currently I am working with West Care, drug-free community, and then I am looking to bring the opportunity to our hospitals against sex trafficking to put more training in our healthcare system who usually see most of our victims.
Awesome, thank you, Shay. And last but not least, Mr. Chad, what incentives will you provide to attract donations?
Yeah, one of the things that we're seeking to do, for one, with our pilot is we're attracting funds from potentially some grants through foundations to preload funds onto TipaScript accounts to at least one, get some of the patients to get out there and use the card. And as a result, that will then lead them to be kind of the mouthpieces to go back to family members and even providers to help with copay assistance and even assisting them in paying for their last dollar payments for their prescription meds. So a lot of excitement from providers and patients who are really eager to get started, and we're ready for the next steps.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chad. Let's hear it one time for all of our businesses and participants of Cohort 5. You guys did a tremendous job. As promised, you guys will have an opportunity to interact with all the businesses in a private session. But before we wrap up, we cannot end it without bringing the co-founder of Yes and the brains behind a lot of things, Q Elamine, to the forefront. Q?
Thank you all for joining us today, and I'll be very brief in my comments. First off, I want to thank all of our sponsors, as Khalif alluded to, because we cannot put this together without you. I also want to thank all of the mentors. We have a dynamic group of mentors. I don't want to name one of them because I have to name all of them, and I don't want to forget anybody, but everybody who has plugged in, that's helping the businesses offline when they have questions and they need connections. Thanks for everybody who's been doing that. Steph, thanks for putting all of these events and talking with the businesses and keeping everything going. Samitra, for all of your help over the time. I also want to thank Alderwoman Malele Cogs, who really kicked off the program and got things moving. The former CTO of the city of Milwaukee, Nancy Olson, and her support and bringing the city in. Greg Meyer for introducing us to the startup world and getting us into learning about the business model canvas, et cetera, et cetera. Also the late Roman Glover and him believing in Yes from day one and getting everything going. So just want to say, if it's any way that you can help out any other startups, whether that's connections, giving them contracts, investments, et cetera, please reach out to them. And thanks to everybody for joining. We'll put the links to everyone's individual breakout sessions so that you can go and talk to them and more in depth in the chat as well. And thanks everybody. Let's keep everything going, and hopefully everybody's doing the best they can during these trying times. Thanks, Steph.
Awesome. So let's spend some time connecting. As Q mentioned, he'll put the links up, and you guys have fun learning more about these terrific businesses.